Sushruta for NEET is now available on the Google Play Store. Try it out for free.
Paul Ehrlich also showed clearly how that when we just remove the rivet from this aeroplane, if at all the rivets of these seats or the windows are removed one by one, it may not affect that much the safety of the aeroplane. But on the other hand, if at all the rivet of the wing is removed, wing is removed, then it is going to affect much because if the wings become weak, the aeroplane may not take off at all. So loss of rivets on the wings is more important than the rivets of the seats or the window nearby. So this rivet of the wing is more important than the rivets of other places. In the same way, whenever one species is removed, it depends upon how much important it is a species, the function of the ecosystem. If at all in this, that means sometimes you come across what is known as a key species. What do you mean by key species? Key species, this is very important word, key species, or we also call it keystone species. Key species, otherwise called keystone species. Always ask a question, keystone species. What do you mean by this keystone species? A keystone species is the one whose presence affects or has a major role on the presence and or on the occurrence of number of species around. So that is the concept of keystone species. Look here, a keystone species is a species that has disproportionately large effect on its environment relative to its abundance. On its environment relative to its abundance. So one particular species decides about the occurrence and survival of a number of other species. This is what is known as keystone species. Now, let me just to show you. Now, let us think that in one particular place, there is one particular big tree like this. So this is what you call ficus tree. So as a species is concerned, this is one species, one individual. Say there's only one tree of a ficus, what you have, or to that extent a people tree, Ficus religiosa, or Ficus bengalensis, whatever it may be, one species of this, it shelters hundreds of birds, thousands of insects, hundreds of these lizards, etc., etc. So one species, if at all you think that this one species, one tree, let us say that even one tree, if one tree is removed from one particular area, you will see that hundreds of individuals they get affected. That is what is known as the keystone species. You know, on this particular one that ficus tree, you may see hundreds of birds visiting this ficus tree to eat the fruits, hundreds of insects visiting this ficus tree to eat the insects, thousands of insects living on this, and you do come across like that, thousands of parasites in the body of birds, in the body of these insects, etc., etc. Therefore, ficus is considered as a keystone species. I repeat once again, a keystone species is the one whose presence it regulates the occurrence and survival of hundreds of other species. This is keystone species. Therefore, if one Parthenium is removed, it won't make much difference. Absolutely no difference at all. But if one this ficus tree is removed, you see that there will be large impact on the ecosystem. Have you understood this, Kanisa?
Yes, sir.
Vishwas, have you understood this concept?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Nadira,
Yes, sir.
tell me, Nadira, what did I say? What did
About chicken species, sir.
what I said? What I said just now? Navya, Janani,
Sir, it helps in the occurrence and survival of thousands of species.
yeah, that is what is keystone species. So look here. This is, are you seeing this one? This one of the molluscan member. It is called a loligo. One loligo species, it decides or it monitors, it regulates so many species found around it. That means when one loligo species is removed, all life of all these other species get affected. Right? Now, let us look into the next one, biodiversity and conservation. Right? Please listen to the lecture properly. Sarottam, Sarottam,
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
will be asking you here and there just to repeat. And I want you to be very much concentrated not only in my class, in other classes also. In a physics class, in a chemistry class, in a mathematics class also. Please be attentive. Okay. Now, loss of biodiversity. You please tell me now how the loss of biodiversity takes place. Who will tell? How the biodiversity gets lost? You know, biodiversity is the different types of plants and animals occurring around us. Can you tell me how the biodiversity gets lost? Aisha, Aisha,
Yes.
Aisha. Yeah, yeah. Come on. How does biodiversity gets lost?
By
Pardon?
because of humans.
Yeah. Because of humans. Is it that in these humans Aisha included or not? Because of humans. Humans is a different species than Aisha.
No, sir.
Rafa, you tell me. Rafa,
Yes, sir.
whether Aisha is included in that?
Yes, sir.
Whether Rafa is included?
Yes, sir.
Now you tell me, human beings are the main cause for biodiversity loss. Now, what do you mean by conservation?
Conserving the biodiversity.
Okay, you tell me now. Who will tell? What in what all way biodiversity is lost? Who will tell?
Deforestation.
Deforestation. Who said it? Rafa?
Rafa.
Yeah. Then that's only one thing. Now let me see that what Namrata is saying. What Jayasri is telling. Namrata, are you there?
Yes, sir.
How the biodiversity gets lost? She said deforestation. Is it that is the only way? That's the only cause of loss of biodiversity? Is there any other thing?
Maybe pollution.
Maybe pollution. Okay. Do you see anything else more? Tanusri, Savitri, Jayasri. One is deforestation, another is pollution. Or can you add anything to
Soil
this?
erosion.
Soil erosion. Who
Soil
said it?
erosion.
Who said it?
Chinmay.
Chinmay. Soil erosion. Lohit, are you there? Lohit?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you tell any other reason? Okay. Now, you tell me, Lohit.
Urbanization.
Pardon?
Urbanization.
Yeah, urbanization. What do you mean by urbanization? Any idea, Lohit? What is urbanization? Urbanization.
Buildings.
Yeah,
Cutting
urbanization
up things.
is nothing but a transformation of the villages to the cities. Transformation of the wild nature into cities, transformation of agriculture land into the township. These are all part of urbanization. Okay, now you tell me how we can conserve biodiversity. Rakesh, how you can conserve biodiversity? Prati, how you can conserve biodiversity? Tell me, Harshvardhan, how you can conserve biodiversity? Ishvita,
By planting more trees.
yeah?
By
Preventing the
more
cutting
trees.
of trees.
1 minute. Ishvita, preventing?
Cutting of trees.
Yeah, preventing deforestation or going for afforestation,
Farming national parks.
forming national parks.
Farming parks.
Yeah, Rakesh?
That one is sir.
Yeah. So now let us study these treaties, loss of biodiversity. While it is doubtful if any species are being added through speciation, speciation means formation of a new species. Formation of new species is called speciation. Formation of new species. Whether we have doubt, while it is doubtful if any species are being added into the earth's treasury of species, there is no doubt about their continuing loss. I hope you understand my point. To know whether new species added, it is very difficult to know. It may be easy to know if at all we have clear-cut idea of existing species. Now, let us think that, Kanisa, let us think that one day fine morning when you wake up, you see that nearby your house there appears one alien species looking like a human being. But you see that it is totally different. It is very much human-like. You can easily notice it. Am I right? Am I right? Can you,
Yes,
sir?
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Suppose in your kitchen, one ant appears. Can you make out it is a new species or a known species? Can you, sir?
Yes, sir.
Can you make out whether it's a new species or already existing species? If at all ant appears in your kitchen, you can't say that much clearly, quickly. No, this is new species of ant. Am I right?
Yes,
Am I
sir.
right? Why? Why? Because Canis has not seen ants at all. Let us see that. Have you seen the ants? Canis, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, if at all some ants appear there, she may not be in a position to say it is new species. But if you come across a similar type of human being, a new one, immediately can make out, no, this is not a human species, this is something looking like human. Therefore, it is doubtful if any species are being added to speciation into Earth's treasure species. There is no doubt about their continuing losses. Continuing losses. Now, how many of you see this rat snake nearby your house? What is a rat snake? Did I say about rat snake? You know about a rat snake? Have you heard about
Yes,
rat
sir.
snake? Yes. Is it poisonous or non-poisonous?
Non-poisonous.
Non-poisonous. Have you heard about this rat snake?
Yes, sir. You showed it to us.
I showed it. It is a non-poisonous snake. And this non-poisonous snake, I know very well that this non-poisonous snake, rat snake, used to appear in a large number in and around our houses when we were all small children. But if you go there now, you hardly find even a one in a day. Earlier we used to see one or two very often. Now, no. That means this particular species is getting extinct in number. Or this particular species is getting reduced in number day by day. So this is what we say loss of biodiversity. Okay, so the biological wealth of our planet has been declining rapidly, and the accusing finger is clearly pointing to Aisha, pointing to Rafa. Am I right? Am I right, Aisha? The biological wealth of our planet has been declining rapidly, and the accusing finger is clearly pointing to GKB. Am I right? Am I right? Whenever we
Yes,
say,
sir.
whenever we say human activity, it is we people. We are responsible. We are responsible for the loss of biodiversity. We human beings, we are responsible for the loss of biodiversity. Therefore, we have to take the measure to protect the biodiversity. If we we will succeed in living on this earth. The more quicker the biodiversity is removed, the more quicker is the extinction of the human beings on this earth. So it is left to you whether you have to protect the biodiversity, whether you have to conserve the biodiversity, or you have to add more and more to the declining biodiversity. The colonization of tropic, I am now giving you some of the examples, and you'll be knowing how much we are responsible for the loss of biodiversity today. If at all I say this, what biological wealth of our earth has been declining rapidly, and we say that it is we are responsible for that, I am sure Aisha may not agree, Kanisa may not agree, Navya may not agree, Vishwas may not agree, Harshavardhan may not agree. I am sure Rakesh will agree. Am I right, Rakesh? You agree? You agree or disagree? Prati, you agree or disagree? I know, we have to agree. We are responsible for the loss of biodiversity in such a rapid manner. Now, I am going to give you some example. Let me give an example. The colonization of tropical Pacific islands. Pacific islands. I hope you know that there are two major oceans. One is Atlantic and another is the Pacific. If you look into this Pacific Ocean, just like Atlantic Ocean, in all this ocean, you do come across a lot of islands. Lot of islands. You know, in between the mainlands, you do come across a lot of islands. What human beings have started to do, whenever they used to come across any island nearby mainland, people make it a point to go there, to see there. And whenever they find that, oh, this island is very good, it is very nice, no one has claimed any land there, and they make it a point to go there and to stay there. Because they get a free land, they need not pay anyone money for staying there. And ultimately, in this way, at the beginning, lot of courageous people who were dare enough to leave the mainland and to go nearby landlands started living there. For example, like this, people from India used to go to Lakshadweep Islands, number of small islands in Lakshadweep. They used to stay there. And when I visited Andaman Nicobar Island, I have seen Andaman Nicobar Island. Apart from the main islands there are very thousands of small islands nearby there. Now, if you see now, whether it is the Atlantic Ocean, or whether it's the Pacific Ocean, or whether it's the Bay of Bengal, or whether it's the Arabian Sea, in all these places you come across colonization of the islands. Now, what do you mean by colonization? Colonization means, now let us think that all these 20, 30 members of this URA academy, all these 30 members, they go there to one particular island, 30 island, okay, let us think that, they go there, and they see this island is very nice, and they can stay there, they can build house there, and living there is not difficult, natural resources are there, they stay there. And this is what you say colonization. Good number of people going there, staying there, marrying there, reproducing there, this is colonization. The colonization of tropical Pacific islands by humans is said to have led to the extinction of more than 2,000 species of native birds. Remember, I am speaking about colonization. What do you mean by colonization? Going to one particular island, staying there, start living there, and making it a point of not to return from there, getting married to a beautiful girl or a handsome boy there, and settling there, and making arrangement for their kids also to get married. And in this way, whenever colonization of tropical Pacific islands, many islands in the Pacific Ocean, the colonization of tropical Pacific islands by humans has resulted in extinction of more than 2,000 species of birds. I hope you are understanding my point. Janani, are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The IUCN Red List 2004 documents the extinction of 784 species, including 338 vertebrates, 359 invertebrates, 87 plants in the last 500 years. Almost 2 species have become extinct in every year. 500 years, 784 species. Don't think that these are all unknown creatures. Vertebrates, 338 species, 359 invertebrates, and 87 plants have undergone extinction in the last 500 years. This is not the only number. I will give the better number later. Some examples of recent extinctions include the dodo in the island called Mauritius, quagga in the islands of Africa, thylacine in Australia, stellar sea cow in Russia, and 3 subspecies of tiger, Bali, Javan, and the recent extinctions of animals. Now, are you interested to know how this dodo has become extinct? How this thylacine has become extinct? How this tiger, Bali, tiger, Caspian tiger have become extinct? How it may be? Come on, you tell me. How these animals might have become extinct? I have told you.
Hunting.
Pardon? Yeah. Who said it?
Blessy.
Blessy. Blessy, it is need not be always hunting. You see what has happened, No doubt, hunting is one of the reasons. One of the reasons. Look here, Blessy. This is what? Dodo. Okay? Dodo. Blessy. Blessy.
Yes,
Blessy.
sir.
This is not a photograph. This is not a photograph of the dodo. It is the art. It is a sketch drawn. Look here. What has happened, Poor guy. What has happened to this dodo? The dodo was living very happily in Mauritius Island. It never had any predator. It was living very comfortably. And such a calm and quiet bird, whenever human beings started visiting this Madagascar, visiting this Mauritius, east of the Madagascar in the Indian Ocean, the dodos, the dodos welcomed you. The dodos welcomed human beings. And these dodos, without any fear, they used to stand nearby human beings. They used to stand nearby human beings. They welcomed human beings there. Such a harmless, very, very soft behaviored bird became extinct. How? Let me tell you. The dodo is an extinct, flightless bird. It never used to fly away. It used to just walk on the island. It used to have a very much happy, peaceful life. That was an endemic. It was endemic to that particular island only. The dodo is an extinct flightless bird that is endemic to the island of Mauritius, east of Madagascar in the Indian Ocean. Look here. Look here. How it has become extinct. Please look here. How it has become extinct. How did the dodo go extinct? Debated hotly by biologists, the dodo went extinct at the end of the 17th century for 3 possible reasons. Because of 3 possible reasons. And this aspect is not there in your NCERT book. But I am mentioning about this just to make you to know how we have become responsible for the decline in the biodiversity. Whether you would like to know it, or shall I skip over this all? Because I have given the list that this have become extinct. Would you like to know? Are you interested to know it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now see here. See here. First, before the arrival of humans on Mauritius, an island where dodos had lived and evolved for centuries. They lived and evolved for centuries. The species had no natural predator. They never had any natural predator. There is none to kill them. Just like human beings today. We don't have any natural predator because we are that much of a powerful because of our own intelligence. Due to their inability to adapt to the imminent threat and tactfully escape, they never used to escape. They never knew about the threat. They never imagined about the threat that they are going to face. They became an easy target for explorers on excursions to the island. What happened? It is not that. If at all some island was found and there was no one, people never go in the first attempt, oh, this island is vacant, let me come and stay here. No. People at the beginning, they used to go to Mauritius as a site for excursion. Excursion. You know, Kanisa, Rafa, Navia, you go to some island near Udupi just for excursion, you know, near Malpe. What is that island?
Saint Mary's.
Saint Mary's Island. Saint Mary's Island, people go there and they'll be warned, they have to come back by evening, like that. Repeated visit to the excursion, repeated visit to that such islands as excursion may make one day Kanisa, Aisha, Rafa, Navia, everyone. Oh, so one day the government will tell, okay, those who want to settle in St. Mary's Island, you can settle here, and frequent ferry service will be there from this St. Mary's Island to Malpe. So Navya may make a point to buy by telling her father, Dad, shall we purchase some land at St. Mary's Island? Am I right, Navya? Because you can come within 5 minutes, let us say that you have such a service that within 5 minutes you are coming to Malpe. So, in this way, people used to go on excursion to the island. Later, they made it a point to live there forever. Unabated hunting by sailors. They never knew that someone will come and kill them, hunt them. Unabated hunting by sailors and explorers were the main reason why the dodos became extinct. Right? Those who used to travel in the ship, sailors and explorers, were the main reason why the dodos became extinct. You know, many times these dodos come and remain, used to stay nearby human being, never knowing that these same human beings cut them the very next day. Just like what we are doing to the goat and the sheep nowadays, or to the domestic fowl, whatever we are doing nowadays. In the same way, these became the subject for the hunting. Second, the Western explorers, sailors, did not come to the island of Mauritius alone. They never came alone. What they did? Whenever they used to come to that, they was like a rat, cat, dog, pigs, etc. Cats, dogs, pigs are brought intentionally, and rats are brought accidentally. How that rats are brought accidentally? They might have come along with the food grains that was brought through ship. They might have just they might have hid it in the gunny bags where the grains were there. So, whenever these explorers used to come, they not only came alone, They also brought foreign animals like rats, cats, dogs, pigs, etc. In the new habitat of Mauritius, these animals became invasive because there was no competitor. Rat used to get a lot of food. Cats has no problem at all. Dogs, pigs, they became invasive and they started spreading in such a large number. They showed the population explosion. And this became invasive. And for the poor dodos, now dodos have to compete with these. Dodos have to fight with these. So in a new habitat Mauritius, these animals became invasive for the poor dodos who had zero experience dealing with them. Whenever a dog used to come there to just fight with that, dodos are so quiet creature. They never used to fight back. They just used to get surrendered. As mentioned earlier, dodos laid their eggs directly on the ground. They used to lay the eggs directly on the ground. Earlier, there were no predators at all. No one used to come and collect, eat their eggs. But now it is only that. Cats are there, rats are there, pigs are there. As mentioned earlier, dodos laid their eggs directly on the ground. So many of these foreign animals raided the dodos' nests and fed on their young and unborn. Humans and foreign animals made this endemic creature a hostage in its own habitat. Understood? Clear? Clear? Rakesh, I followed it? Hello, Rakesh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Have you understood this, Ismita? Now, let us look into the next one. Quagga. Quagga is nothing but ecos. Ecos, quagga, quagga. What you generally call zebra. This is an extinct subspecies of a plains zebra that lived in South Africa until 19th century. Until 19th century, this lived successfully and they became extinct. The quagga is a zebra, a particular variety of zebra, were perceived by the settlers as competitors. Quagga were perceived by the settlers who used to go and settle in the new island as competitors for their sheep, goat, and other livestock. These settlers, along with them, they took their sheep, goats also. Much has been written about the reasons for the extinction of quagga. It is generally attributed to the ruthless hunting. Also, hunting. And even planned extermination by colonists. How that a planned extermination? They made to undergo extinct and to become extinct in their own way. It's a flesh of this quagga is said to have been welcome food for farm laborers. Farm laborers used to rely much on this flesh of the quagga, while the skin was used as a grain bag and leather. So for this purpose, mercilessly they were hunted. Great numbers of raw animal hides were exported during 19th century. Raw animal hide, that is the skin of this quagga, were exported during 19th century for the leather industry. South Africa was known as hunters of paradise. Those who want to learn hunting, those who want to enjoy hunting, they used to visit there and used to kill this quagga mercilessly. Thereby, they brought this quagga to become extinct. Have you followed this? Vismita, are you there? Vishwas? Vishwas,
Yes, sir.
on which animal I was speaking so far? On which animal I was speaking so far?
Quagga, sir.
Quagga. Now let us look into another animal, thylacine. Thylacine was the largest known carnivorous marsupial, the group to which a kangaroo belonged, of modern times. It is commonly known as Tasmanian tiger. Remember, thylacine is also called a Tasmanian tiger or Tasmanian wolf. Okay, Tasmanian tiger or Tasmanian wolf. How this also became extinct? Tasmanian tiger or Tasmanian wolf. While it is estimated that there were around 5,000 these thylacines in Tasmania at the time of European settlement. However, excessive hunting combined with factors such as habitat destruction, habitat loss, and introduced disease led to the rapid extinction of species. Many times, whenever these domestic animals are taken along with these invaders, human beings, cat, dog, cow, etc., rarely cow was taken. Along with this, especially goat to sheep, cat to dog, whenever they are taken, many times the diseases also used to get into the new island along with this. And this also has resulted in the extinction of thylacines. Stellar's seacow. This is the one which was known to be found in the islands, Commander Islands in the Bering Sea. Stellar seacow is an extinct mammal belonging to Sirenia order. At that time, discovered by Europeans in 1741. At that time, it was found only around the Commander Island, only in this island, in the Bering Sea, between Alaska and Russia. So, how this, let us see, stellar sea cow became extinct. Whatever you are hearing now, how they became extinct and all, need not you remember. This is just to make you to understand how this biodiversity took place and what we should see that in future such things are not getting repeated. Sea cow had no teeth. It had no teeth. It is a mammal. Sea cows had no teeth. Instead, they relied on horny plates. Just like, in case of whales, they have no teeth. But what we come across there? Baleen plates. Baleen plates. Okay, in this way, sea cows had no teeth. Instead, they relied on the horny plates in the mouth to compact their soft food, to bring all the soft food together. What they used to do? They used to open the mouth, take all the water, how much it is possible, then close the mouth and leave the water to go through the slit between the teeth, between the plates, baleen plates, like that, between the plates. So, which consisted of what they used to do? They were herbivore. Please remember, they were herbivore generally. They relied on horny plates in the mouth to compact their soft food, which consisted of a kelp. Kelp is a few of its member, and a seaweed near the ocean's surface along the shore. They used to come and they used to take this all seaweeds. Seaweeds are just like your grasses, herbs. They used to just take everything in their mouth, then let the water to go out, and then they used to just crush and eat. They floated at the surface, but had a little ability to submerge, and thus were easy target. This is the problem. These sea cows used to come to the surface, and they used to float. They used to float on the surface. They used to float on the surface. And this, when they used to float on the surface, they used to keep their nostrils up to breathe atmospheric air. People used to kill them. They used to harm them. So they floated at the surface, but had little ability to submerge, and thus were easy target for harpooning by hunters. Take a long sickle like a gadget and beat them. The sea cow was used to supply Russian seal hunters with prized meat. It was very much valued on long sea journeys. Whenever people used to make a long journeys, and then they used to come across with these islands and they used to get it. Killing was often wasteful. The total population in 1741 has been estimated to at about 2,000, but by 1768, it had been exterminated. All this got exterminated. The moment they were discovered, immediately they got exterminated. The extinction of stellar sea cow is a dramatic example of vulnerability of a small isolated after 20 years or 25 years, they got completely killed. These are the three tigers in Bali, nearby Indonesia, to become extinct. Bali tiger, Javan tiger, and Caspian tiger, by hunting, by poaching. Whatever is happening to the tigers, what we have now, the same thing that happened earlier. The Bali tiger, Caspian tiger, Javan tiger are three subspecies that are currently extinct. When humans began to inhabit the island, they slowly deforested and populated the tiger's natural habitat. So this is mainly due to these tigers became extinct mainly due to two reasons. One is the poaching, hunting, and another one is that of the habitat loss. Hunting also played a large role in their extinction. The last individual was shot by hunter in 1937. I hope this is understood. I hope by this you have understood very clearly how we have become directly responsible, how we are become directly responsible. Aisha, Rafa, I said, we are responsible for that. This is how we are become responsible for that. The last 20 centuries, last 20 years alone have witnessed disappearance of 27 species. 20 years, 27 species. Every year, we are losing one or the other species. Careful analysis of records to show that extinctions across the taxa are not random. Some groups like amphibians appear to be more vulnerable to extinction. Amphibians have become more extinct, which I know very well. As I told you, I think I might have told you earlier, I used to see a lot of frogs during my childhood, and people used to visit my village, and people used to come at night time with a gas light, and they used to collect the frogs in bags in hundreds, and they used to cut the thighs. They used to export the thighs of frog, and there was huge demand for the thighs of frog from other countries, and that is why the amphibians became so much reduced in their number. Not only one species, many species of amphibians became extinct. When compared to other individuals, it is more. Adding to the grim scenario of extinction is the fact that more than 15,500 species worldwide are facing the threat of extinction. In the whole world, if you take, more than 15,500 species are facing the threat of extinction. Presently, 12% of all bird species, 23% of all mammal species, 32% of all amphibian species, 31% of gymnosperm species in the world face the threat of extinction. Another important point. These many individuals are facing the fear of extinction, right? So I don't want to show this, okay? I think this I shall skip. You must know, this one sentence you take down. Sometimes you'll be asked, what is the full form of IUCN? International Union for Conservation of Nature. International Union for Conservation of Nature. Okay? This you must know about that. So all that whatever has become extinct, how much endangered and all, these are all decided by or it is made known by this organization. It was also known as WCO, World Conservation Union. The World Conservation Union, WCO, is now known as IUCN. Earlier it was known as World Conservation Union, WCO. Right? Now, so this, I would like to please have screenshot of this. Many times it was asked in some of the examinations, what do you mean by least concern, what do you mean by near threatened, what do you mean by endangered, near endangered, like that. So least concern means that this particular species is present in good number. There is no immediate threat to the survival of the species. There is no immediate threat. Yes, we do have sufficient number of species. These are typically common species that have been hunted or can be hunted, but no harm is done to the population as a whole. No harm. If you take the example of a deer, Yeah, Ds are good in number. We can say that it is not that much population getting reduced, but even then, because of the habitat loss, it is also getting into near threatened. These are species that could be considered threatened in the near future, and population numbers are monitored carefully. Right? We are not looking into the deer population because it is coming under the least concern, but one day it may reach into the near threatened also. Right? Now, vulnerable or threatened. These are species that face high risk of extinction, vulnerable, threatened, but not for many years. These are species that face a high risk of extinction, but not for many years. These species are typically hunted for pelt and trophies. You know, pelt is skin, undressed skin, as you see the skin of tiger, lion, etc. And the African elephants for ivory. For these different purposes, they are hunted. So they are vulnerable, they are threatened, their number they may become extinct. Okay, so have you lost a significant amount of their habitat, such as Galapagos tortoises. So these Galapagos tortoises, you have already heard about that. Okay, these Galapagos tortoises have to compete with the goats which are introduced there. So these are all vulnerable or threatened, endangered. These organisms face high risk of extinction in near future if we don't take any measure immediate. Now, no doubt, within another couple of years, they become extinct. Examples include Asian elephants, green sea turtle, blue whales, etc. These populations are closely monitored, and there are considerable fines and jail time if someone is found hunting or harming a species that is considered endangered. Critical endangered. That means they are very, very, within a few years, couple of years, they are going to become extinct. A species in its category is likely to go extinct in the near future unless a drastic. Many of these species were overhunted or overfished and continue to be hunted illegally, also known as poaching. So that is why critical endangered. You are a tiger and all. We consider they are critical endangered. If you don't take any measure, their population will be reduced. So extinct in the wild. Many times you don't find them in the wild, but you see them in our captivity, like botanical garden, like that, or zoos. This means that while no living members of a certain species exist in their native habitat, there are individuals in a captivity. Captivity includes our zoos or in a botanical garden. So in this way, you do have many classifications. I hope you have understood these points, right? Okay. Yeah, this. Okay. I don't think that is required. So you must remember that now, whatever we are going to face in the future, from a study of history of life on Earth through fossil records, we learn that large-scale loss of species, large-scale loss of species, all the species which were there, they got completely removed, like the one we are currently witnessing, have also happened earlier, even before humans appeared on the scene. Then what, sir? Even if at all human beings were not there, the extinction has taken place, then why you are blaming me? Definitely I shall ask me. Raphael asked me, am I right? Am I right? By seeing this sentence, you may ask that question, am I right? Can you, sir? Can you, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, large scale species loss happened earlier also when even before humans appeared on the scene. But that is different, this is different. During a long period, that is more than 3 billion years, 3,000 million years, since the origin and the diversification of life on Earth, we have seen that 5 such episodes of extinction, mass extinction has occurred. Let me tell you. Are you hearing me, Siddesh?
Yes, sir.
Hear me, Harshavardhan,
Yes, sir.
Rati, Rakesh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
5 times such extinction has taken place. During all these 5 times, whatever species existed, all got totally removed. And now, we are waiting for another extinction to take place, mass extinction, large scale loss, and that is sixth episode. 5 times it has already over. And we are now looking into the fifth time that episode to take place. And this sixth extinction, presently in progress, we are now there, we are preparing for sixth extinction. And this sixth extinction is different from the previous 5 episodes. How? The difference is in the rate. The current species extinction rates are estimated to be 100 to 1000 times faster than in the pre-human times. 5 times extinction has taken place. At what rate extinction took place? How many species are there and how much time it took place for them to become extinct? You know, what all different types of fishes were there when they were dominating, all those fishes are not there today. What all amphibians are there, all those are not there today. What all reptiles are there, all those are not there today. And the best example is the dinosaur, which lived successfully, dominated the earth nearly 75 millions of years. They became extinct. And with our history of just 10,000 years, at the maximum, if you take into that all other human beings there, say about 1 to 2 million years, we think that we are the bosses on this earth forever. No. We are now getting ready for sixth extinction. The difference in the last 5 extinction and the sixth extinction is that we are nearing towards extinction at a very, very fast rate, 1000 times more faster than the previous extinction. Ecologists warn that if the present trends continue, nearly half of all the species on Earth, that means nearly 1 million species on the Earth, might be wiped out within next 100 years. Within next 100 years. That means your grandchildren will see that much loss. That much loss. I am seeing the loss through my own eyes. You see the loss more than what I have seen. Your children will see much more loss what you have seen. Your grandchildren will see much more loss than compared to you all. Right? So, mass extinction, I will not tell, I will tell that these are the 5 times of mass extinction, 5 mass extinctions. One took place in the Cretaceous period, another is a Triassic, one more is a Permian, one more is a Late Devonian, one is Ordovician. In this way, 5 times such an extinction took place, and this resulted in the complete removal of all the species existed at that time. Are you following me? Are you following me? Are you following me? Right? So, are you hearing me?
Yes,
Oh,
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Here, see, once it took place here. During this place, mass extinction took place. Then Devonian, then Permian, then Triassic, then Cretaceous. During all these Cretaceous, the resulted extinction resulted in total removal of dinosaurs. Extinction of dinosaurs. Cretaceous. Permian. Mass extinction of Permian. And here, in this Devonian, I have already given you. Devonian was a period of, it was the age of fishes. Permian, age of amphibians. All those which are there, they are totally different. What you have is totally different. Let it be. Don't bother about that. So, I will not skip all this. Okay. In general, loss of biodiversity in a region may lead to decline in the plant production. What happens? Whenever there is a loss of biodiversity, it means decline in plant production, lowered resistance to environmental perturbations such as a drought, increased variability in a certain ecosystem processes such as plant productivity, water use, pests, and disease cycle. So these are the result of loss of biodiversity. Loss of biodiversity results in first decline in plant production. When a number of plants come down, You must remember one thing. Whatever we eat today is because of the plants. This is a fact that we are forgetting. We get the food to eat. We get the air to breathe is because of the plants. Our rain that we get is also because of the plants. The water holding capacity of the soil is also depends upon the plants. The very fact that if the plants are no more, definitely we will not be there on this earth even for a minute. That we are not understanding. Now let us look into causes of biodiversity losses. What are the causes? Generally, it's that the accelerated rates of species extinction that the world is facing now are largely due to whose activity? Whose activity? Rakesh? Whose activity? Largely due to Rafa? Whose activity?
Human activity.
Human activities.
Our activity. The moment human means, we think in some other species. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right, Rafa? Am I right, Navya? Am I right, Tanu? Am I right, Savitri? Kavita, are you there? Kavita? Kavi?
Yes, sir.
Where were you? Okay.
I joined 5 minutes late, sir.
Okay. So, please know that our activity. Shall we change our activity? Shall we change our activity? Shall we become not directly responsible for this biodiversity loss? Nadira? Prithvi? Namrata? Shall we see that we are not become directly responsible for the biodiversity loss? Am I right? How to become? Navya? Navya? Navya?
Yes, sir.
Navya?
Yes, sir.
How you will not become responsible directly for biodiversity loss? Which tissue paper you use? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Are you using tissue paper?
Yes, sir.
What is that tissue paper made of?
It's from the trees.
In the trees. Can't you have a beautiful small designed kerchief?
Yes, sir.
Can you use that kerchief hereafterwards?
Yes.
Can you say no to tissue paper?
Yeah.
Can you minimize at least that much?
Yes, sir.
That is what I say. In whatever manner it is possible, we shall make it a point we are not becoming responsible for the biodiversity loss. Therefore, whenever you say it is largely due to human activity, Rakesh, Prithvi, Namrata, remember it is our activity. There are 4 major causes. These 4 major causes are called evil quartet. Once it was asked, write short notes on evil quartet. The evil quartet is the sobriquet, is the phrase used to describe them. What are these evil quartet? So, 1. Habitat loss and fragmentation. Habitat loss. Now, if at all some agriculture land, let us say that this is agriculture land, Prithvi, agriculture land where you used to grow a lot of sugar cane. I think you are from Belgavi area. Am I right? Belgavi area. Am I right? Lot of sugar canes are grown. Now, you find that Prithvi come to know that there's good demand for the residential sites. Prithvi asks his dad, sir, dad, let us convert it into residential land. So his father agrees. So Prithvi gets converted this agriculture land into residential land. Okay? Into residential land. Right? Okay? So what will happen now? Then this is habitat loss. This is a most important cause driving animals and plants to extinction. Most important cause driving animals and plants into extinction because they know they get their habitat lost. They don't have sufficient space to live. The most dramatic examples of habitat loss come from tropical rainforests. The tropical rainforest, earlier In these rainforests, there were no human settlements at all. People used to go there and occupy some space, cut the trees there, first make a small area to build the small hut, remain there in that small cottage like that house, and start then cutting the trees nearby and transforming it into agricultural land, then widening that agricultural land, then changing this small cottage into big building like that. This is what is happening, habitat loss. So the most dramatic examples of habitat loss come from tropical rainforest. Once covering more than 14% of the Earth's land surface, these rainforests now cover no more than 6%. Remember, once covering more than 14% of Earth's land, Earth's surface, that means more than 14% of Earth's surface was covered by forest, rainforest, which was mainly responsible for getting very good rain. That means forested area. Once covering more than 14% of Earth's land surface, these rainforests now cover even less than 6%. Remember? For a healthy ecosystem to occur, it is said that always around 33% of the area should have forest. Then there will be very healthy ecosystem. Entire earth will be very healthy. But now we don't have. Look here, it is even not even to the extent of 6%. They are being destroyed fast. By the time you finish hearing this lecture, 1,000 more hectares of rainforest would have been lost. You can't imagine. I don't know. I don't know. I shall tell you those who are there at Udupi. You know how many trees are got cut just for widening the roads in Malpe to Manipal or Malpe to Someshwara? Are you aware? Are you aware of this? Janani?
No, sir.
You are not aware? You have not seen? Janani, from which place you are coming?
Udupi,
Udupi, from which place?
Brahmagiri.
Brahmagiri. You just ask your mom how many trees are there nearby Brahmagiri, Ambalpadi and all. And you just ask your mom how many trees might have got cut to widen the road. You will know about that. I think Navya, you might have seen how much trees got cut in Manipal. Have you seen that?
No, sir.
No? You don't know?
No,
You
sir.
just ask your dad how many trees are getting cut there near Parkala. You don't know widening of the road at Parkala, Hiryadka. Even on the roadsides, there are so many trees. So every time in the name of the development, lot of trees are getting lost. The Amazon rainforest, it is always credited as the lungs of the planet. Such a huge forest were there at Amazon. Amazon rainforest, which is also called lungs of the planet, very much always remember, harboring probably millions of species of plants, is being cut and cleared for cultivating soya bean or for conversion to grassland for raising beef cattle. So don't think that forest gets cut only in India. Wherever human beings are there, they are human beings only. We human beings, we think that we are the most intelligent creatures on this earth. If it is true, an intelligent creature never harms himself by his own activity. In that way, you are never intelligent people. Remember, you are not an intelligent animal. Each and every animal in the wild, they have always their future thought. They think about the future. Only animal which is not bothered about the future is human being, the most cruel, ungrateful creature. How quick this human species becomes extinct, that much is good for the nature. So don't think that We Indians only, we just get involved in deforestation everywhere on the whole earth. Lot of forest is get cut. Even Amazon rainforest, which is there at America, even it is also get cut for cultivating soya bean. Okay, soya bean, and for conversion to grassland to raise this crop, or to raise this grassland to feed the cattle, to get the beef from the cattle. For this purpose, a lot of forest is getting lost. Of course, in London, America, etc. Good number of non-vegetarians are now turning to be the vegetarian because of their own health problems. Besides the total loss, the degradation of many habitats by pollution also threatens the survival of many species. On one end, it is the loss of habitat. On the other hand, pollution. When large habitats are broken up into small fragments due to various human activities, mammals and birds requiring large territories and certain animals with migratory habits are badly affected, leading to population decline. Now, what is happening? Let us see that this is the forest land with a good number of trees. Very thick forest land, rainforest. What happens here? In this forest land, this much of forest land is lost. Why? It got converted into human settlement, agricultural land. Now, what these tigers which are living here, tigers, which generally want a vast area of several hectares for their day-to-day activity, they should do. Because you have cut this into patches and you are going to stay comfortable here. Or if at all there are some elephants which used to always move, the elephant which used to always move from this area to this area, what it should do? Its life is affected. That is why you see many times the leopards, the tigers, sorry, the elephants, etc., entering this cropland of the cropland in the villages, and people making all hue and cry, telling that the wild animals have made their crop to get lost. In fact, it is in the land of wild animals we have encroached. It is not that they are encroaching your land. You have encroached their land. It is natural. So this is what most of the animals which want vast area for their life, they get their life affected, and their territory gets shrunk. That is why. So this habitat loss of this habitat, and that you come across what is called degradation. That what you say that habitat getting broken up into small fragments are also responsible for some of these animals to get affected. Right? Then over exploitation. Humans have always depend on nature for food and shelter, but when need greed, it leads to over exploitation of natural resources. We can manage with whatever that we get now, but we don't want. If at all I have one particular land, I want to get yield as much as possible, as quickly as possible. That is my ideal be. Because I'll not be sufficient what I'm getting. I want to get much more, more. That is what we say. Need turns to greed. It becomes very difficult. Over exploitation, of natural resources takes place in all aspects. So many species extinctions in the last 500 years, as you have seen, stellar seacow, passenger pigeon, were due to over exploitation by humans. Even if you want to hunt, first you want to hunt and you want to eat yourself. Then you want to hunt for others. You want to make other friends, your relatives also be happy. So you invite them. You said, yeah, I have killed this deer. Okay, enjoy. Like that. So this is what over exploitation by human beings also make many species to become extinct. This is what passenger pigeon. This pigeon became extinct because of the hunting, right? Presently, many marine fish populations around the world are over-harvested Earlier, the fishermen used to go for fishing only during a particular month during rainy season, and they used to go only at a limited time. Now it is not like that. You have a lot of ferries, you have a lot of mechanized boats. So they go there. They remain throughout the season there. They just harvest as much as possible. Presently, many marine fish populations in the world are over-harvested, endangering continued existence of some commercial important species. So these species are get lost. Earlier, whenever the fishermen used to go for a fishing, whenever they used to come in their net, gravid female with much of eggs in their abdomen, the fishermen used to throw these fishes back to the water and they used to survive with the hope that at that time fishermen used to believe, yes, if at all I leave one gravid female with full of eggs in the abdomen back to water, next year to come, I get thousands of this. Now that thought is not there. Whether it's a pregnant fish, what you say, gravid fish with a full of eggs or not, they make use of even the gravid fish with a full of eggs. They just make one or the other dishes, what is called fish roe, and there is good demand for fish roe. Fish roe is nothing but a dish prepared out of the eggs of the fishes only, or some aquatic animals. Okay. Alien species invasion. When alien species is the species from other place, not to the native. When alien species are introduced unintentionally or deliberately, for whatever purpose, some of them turn invasive, cause a decline or extinction of indigenous species. So, if at all, let us see that one particular area, you have a species called A and B and C. These are the species which occurred here. Okay, these were the species which are there right from the beginning. We call them indigenous species, local species. When you bring another one, say D species, when the moment the D species is introduced here, it may harm already existing A, B, C species and it becomes invasive. And here all throughout you see D species only, endangering A, B, and C. This is what is called alien species. Alien species is foreign species invasion. The Nile perch introduced into Lake Victoria in East Africa led eventually to the extinction of ecologically unique assemblage of more than 200 species of cichlid fish. So, in this lake, Victoria, at the beginning, there are only cichlid fishes, so small fishes of a beautiful color, and they had their own role in the ecosystem. Cichlid fishes were there. Once this Nile perch, it was introduced because of its huge size and meat. Once Nile perch was introduced into Lake Victoria, 200 species of cichlid fishes became extinct. You look here, this is what the Nile perch. One Nile perch weighs about 200 kg. The moment Nile perch was introduced, people used to like the meat of this very much. When this got introduced, 200 species of these fishes became extinct. And you may think that, what is this fishes? How much meat it will give? You think in your own way. Nature is not thinking in your terms. These fishes also have as much a right to live as you and me we have. So because of introduction of one particular species of fishes, all these became extinct. Okay, you must be familiar with the environmental damage caused and the threat posed to our native species by invasive weed species like a carrot grass, Parthenium, Lantana, water hyacinth, Eichhornia, and also you have another one, what is called Eupatorium. These all are the exotic species, not of our Indian species. The introduction of these have started spoiling our wealth of a forest. In fact, you don't see any forest without any one of these there. Look here, this is what you have, Parthenium. It is such a weed, we cannot get rid of that because we don't have natural predator. It is called carrot grass. And this is lantana. And this is Eichhornia, terror of Bengal. Every lake in India is filled with these water ice in the terror of Bengal. Right? So this is what I said, Eupatorium. Now it is not a PH, PA. Eupatorium. This, everywhere you have to come across this. So this is with regard to. So now the recent illegal introduction of African catfish clarias, illegal, not permitted. Illegal introduction of African catfish clarias garipinus for aquaculture purpose is posing a threat to indigenous catfish in our river. So this is what you have, the African clarias garipinus. This once it was introduced, our local breed, catfish, this species is becoming now extinct because of that introduction. In this way, many times alien species introduction has resulted in the declining in the population of Indian species. Okay, then we have to look into this co-extinction. When a species becomes extinct, the plant and animal species associated with it also becomes extinct. So when a pollinator, when a flower is visited by a pollinator, if the flower becomes extinct, pollinator also becomes extinct. If pollinator becomes extinct, pollinator also becomes extinct. It is called co-extinction. When a host fish species becomes extinct, its unique assemblage of a parasite also becomes extinct. Another example is the case of co-evolved plant pollinator mutualism, where extinction one invariably leads to the extinction of the other. If the plant becomes extinct, pollinator also becomes extinct. If the pollinator becomes extinct, plants also become extinct. It is known as co-extinction. We shall stop it here, and I will be continuing the rest of the part in my tomorrow's lecture. Right? Okay.